today with my brother, is the biggest himself. I call him the greatest. My brother, the general. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to have you, brother.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, brother. Shalom. Of course. Thank you so much for coming. And man, I want to learn a lot from you, brother.
As much as I can give.
I mean, you got a lot. So, how you introduce yourself? Everybody knows that the general, but they don't know who is the general.
Just a retired entertainment and business consultant. That's how I introduce myself. I never really get too much into accolades or what I've done, who I've done it with, whatever.
Right.
I'm just more about putting out information. I think you connect with people when you don't identify as someone bigger than life.
Right.
Or bigger than them. Just be one of them.
Right.
Just be genuine about it.
Right.
And I think people connect with you.
Right.
I come from the same struggle.
Right.
And I won. And I'm winning. So I want to connect with people that's not in the struggle that I come from. And just share basic information. You know, that's just the way I am. You know, I believe in just being genuine, humble, respectful. And when it's necessary to become a lion, I'm definitely the lion. I would be the wrong one to get in the cage with at that point.
Right.
But for the most part, I try to reach the people that's trying, suffering, that's hurting, that really want it. Trying to give. You know, when Christ was on this earth, he just said a word to some people.
Right.
And it changed their whole lives. They followed him.
True.
Just like that. Because it was something that he said that connected with something that was in their innermost that just activated that goal.
That greatness in them.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
right.
Yeah, I like the way you say that.
So my question is,
Mm-hmm.
what the difference between people who got money and showing off and acting like moving too loud, and the general who has power, money, and he always move with wisdom? What the difference?
In my opinion, and I've been in the business of entertainment for 30 years.
Right.
In my opinion, people equate wealth with things. And they don't actually understand the fact that to have things, they had wealth, but it was a wealth of knowledge.
Right.
They had a wealth of relationships with people that had
Right.
things. And that's how they were able to acquire that.
Right.
I watched a video during the Super Bowl. Odell Beckham and the guy, what's his name? The older man that runs Apple, the billionaire guy. I forget his name.
Steve Jobs?
No.
No.
He's the head of Apple. I think his name is Tim. So I can't remember the guy's name. But they were here for Super Bowl. And they were walking into a restaurant. Odell Beckham and him they were together.
Right.
And the white guy who runs Apple, who's got a gazillion times more money than Odell Beckham.
Right.
But the interesting thing to me was when they walked in, everybody, like a lot of the blacks, they knew who Odell Beckham was, but they didn't realize the person that walked in is the person that cut the check for the entire NFL.
Right.
You follow? Right. But if you look at him, he had an Apple watch on. Well, of course, it was Apple. But he didn't make a lot of noise. He was just quiet, laid back. He does the old saying, speak when you're spoken to and not before.
Right.
Sometimes people can speak to you through their pain, and then you'll know it's time for you to speak to them and share something with them.
Right.
You get it?
Of course.
But if you're too loud, you can never see a person's pain because they're never going to exemplify because you look like someone that if they shared their pain, you would blast it all over the world.
That's the blessing, yeah.
In this generation, what I've learned is that loud people with money attract problems for themselves. Quiet people with money rule.
Right. That's true. And you just told me, like, off camera, you say there's people who have money and people who have value. And this is like very different. This is what I need to hear too.
Well, look at it this way. There are people that have money, but there are people that have true money.
Okay.
Now, what I mean when I say that, people that have true money is the ability to generate it no matter what city in the world you put them in. In 30 days, you come back, they'll make $1 million. Like Grant Cardone. They took everything from him, put him in the city, gave him. And he said it was hard, but he made it happen. Did he reach his goal of $5 million? No, but he was able to, in 30 days, to make $2 or $3 million.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did it.
With nothing.
Of course, yeah, was undercover billionaire.
So think about it. So that's money because he has the ability to create it anywhere that he goes. When there are people with money that have not created anything, they're living off the inheritance of those that created things, their grandfathers or their great-great-grandfather. They're trust funds. A lot of them are trust fund babies. So I take my hat off to people that build something from nothing. No disrespect to the people that grew into the wealth.
Of course.
You follow me? Yeah, I respect that because they have to be kind of smart enough to manage it.
And to keep it.
Over 100 years. You follow? Or have the good advisors to do it. But I think the people that came from nowhere and just had an idea, had a concept, and made it work. I mean, you gotta look at Mark Zuckerberg. You gotta give him credit. I mean, he was young, but he was on what he's on.
Right.
He's stuck with Facebook. And he's still on what he was on.
And he bought Instagram, WhatsApp. He did. Like, he grew.
And if you look at another great comeback story, okay, Kanye was worth $6 billion. They took that from him because of certain things that they felt he should not have said.
Right.
And so, which I think is free speech, and free speech should not be something that's categorized.
Of course.
Certain categories can say things about another person, but then someone in another category can't say nothing about that. I don't think that's fair.
Yes.
But anyways, freedom of speech is for everyone.
Of course.
So, but I say that to say this, now he's come back. He's worth over $2.7 billion.
In no time.
And he's not connected to anybody now.
Right.
You see? So his wealth, he went down to 400 million from 6 something billion. That's a lot of money that's vanished.
I mean, there is people who left this earth without knowing what the billion looks like, or the million even.
But my point in bringing up Kanye was the fact that, but he had wealth, not the $400 million. The
mindset.
Yeah, the mindset.
Right.
And the mindset took him past Jay-Z in a year and a half.
Right.
You follow?
Right, true.
So that's what I call people, having money. You have to have Grant Cardone says all the time. It's not money in the bank, it's money in your mind. It's a 10x mindset.
Of course.
You understand? It's mind over money.
Of course.
You follow me? You see, if you don't mind, I'll make the money.
Absolutely.
You understand me? So that's kind of like
I think everything starts with the mindset. Like I feel like there is a lot of people who broke in mentality, and I think this is the only limitation they put for themselves. I believe God gave us the opportunity to create wherever we want, and the only thing that I feel like people, they cannot manifest their greatness is just because they believe they can't. And it's not true. It's just something that's happened in the mindset. So everybody see the glory, General, but nobody knows the story.
Yeah, exactly.
So what is the story? Like, tell us the story, where you came from, how you started, and how you got here.
I mean, I'm from New Orleans. I grew up down in Louisiana and uptown New Orleans. I've lived all over New Orleans, all over outside of the city. I went to high school. I quit school in the 9th grade. Had other issues in my life, My grandma was the closest person to me, and my grandfather murdered my grandma. And that I had to see that affected me. So I locked up, didn't believe in love, trust people. I saw somebody that said they loved someone.
Right.
My grandmother's blood splattered all over the front door. She was going out to go to work. And so, of course, that affected me. But I had great parents,
Right.
My dad, my mom. And my dad was always pushing entrepreneurship, what he wanted to do. Of course, growing up, I'm Hebrew.
Right.
My parents are Jewish people.
Right.
Real Jewish, original Hebrew. And so and I speak Hebrew as well.
That's powerful.
My dad always made us understand. And notice what I said. He always made us understand. Because you didn't play with him. He had a firm hand. He made us understand who Yahweh Eloheinu Melech Haolam God is.
Right.
And he taught us to respect my mother.
Right.
And to respect women.
Right.
And to respect him as a father. And to respect Yahweh God. No matter where you are in life, always remember that Yahweh is your source. And my mother was big on that. My father died of a heart attack in 1987. And so he left young kids as well. I was the oldest. So of course, I got to get it. So I got in the streets, and like everybody, not everybody, but a large portion of us got together and stuff like that, get into drugs and things like that. And did well. I was always smart. I always wanted to be in business. My dad always brought me books about business and stuff like that. So I learned who T. Boone Pickens was when I was maybe 18, 19 years old. You ask the average person, who's T. Boone Pickens? Black people know who that is. I know who Leslie Wexler was. When I was young, you ask a lot of these young people who was Leslie Wexler, they wouldn't know. But they wear his clothes all day long. You follow what I'm saying? So I just started having an interest in just wanting to be in business. I always wanted to be in the oil business. Never was, never did. But I thought big like that, And so one of the things you have to remember is to win or be successful in any business, you have to have great relationships with people that are already winning in an area that you want to win. That's important, very important. Somewhere out there in the world, they got somebody looking for you, doing what you're doing. So what you do is when you pray, you ask God, Yahweh, for visibility,
to show you,
to expose you to the person, the people that's looking for you. Or you go back to the law of attraction. Whatever you put out, it's what comes. It'll ultimately come to you. So if you put out a good vibe, a good energy to magnetize someone out there that has that same energy. And it draws it back to you. So at some point, you're that person. You're going to click. You're going to connect. And so from there, that person will share things with you that you are actually in need of without telling that person. This is kind of like the way I vet people. I just listen. I don't talk a lot. Kind of like when we met. I listen. I don't talk a lot. When it's time for me to talk, I talk. But that way, it gives you an opportunity to see Yahweh, God move. So a person starts saying things that you're thinking about or that you've been praying about. How would they know that? Then you know that was a divine connection. So now you can be genuine, open with that person. Because they came with what you need.
Of course.
But not understanding also that you came with what they needed.
Absolutely.
Because it was a divine connection.
Always.
You know what I'm saying?
Win, always.
Yeah. So for me, I had people that liked the way that I was, I was a hustler. I wasn't really an introvert. I just moved. It was me and my brother, and that's it. And my brother passed away. And so I had to just build relationships. I built some great relationships.
I'm sorry for your brother, man. I lost my brother too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I lost my brother. Like, he was 2 years older than me. He was my best friend. And
my brother was we did everything together.
Man, like everywhere, everything, everybody can, like every place every room we two, like together.
They used to think my brother was my partner. That's your partner, man? That's my brother. Your real brother? That's my brother.
Yeah,
wow,
that's
man,
the same thing.
The way that you guys are.
Yeah. So how you, I just have to stop here a little bit because I mean, I really respect everything you're doing. But I feel like there is a lot of men right now, they stuck so much in the past. And when I see the general, I see somebody who built himself from the past. Like you make every experience to build you and make you stronger to who you are right now. So overcoming like your grandma and then your dad left at a certain age and then your brother, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did you overcome all this stuff? How did you heal from all that?
I don't know.
Your faith, maybe?
Well, I don't think my faith had anything to do with it, because at the end of the day, you boil water on the stove and it's steam.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, the steam runs out.
Right.
But the pot's still hot.
Right.
So it's a process of nature. After a while, you just get through things. The energy behind it is what they expected of you when they were here,
right,
and what responsibilities you have to uphold.
Mm-hmm.
So I had no sisters and a
Mm-hmm.
little brother, so I had to get it. I didn't have the time, and the way we were raised in our culture, we don't. My dad always taught us, I know you're going to be sad whenever I die. I mean, your mother dies, but you got to remember, that's not us in that casket.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Our spirit is what gives us life. If my spirit jump out of my body can stay right here, but I can still walk through this room.
Absolutely.
You just can't see me.
Right.
He said, so just know I'm always with you.
Right.
Do what you need to do.
Okay.
And so
this big. This
honor your mother and the scripture says honor, your mother and your father, so that your days may be lengthened on this earth.
Right.
I'm 61 years old. I've been through cancer. I was shot, robbed, left for dead. I've been through all of that throughout my life.
So how you do that? So again, like what I see today, man, I see a man who, like, with ego, moving on panic. They don't even know themselves. They don't heal themselves. I'm as a life coach as well. I mean, I worked on myself a lot, and I'm still doing it. Like I still have
me too. Yeah.
Challenging to do better, to become better, to have a better relationship too. So you being in all the stages, and especially healing yourself from cancer, because even cancer, I believe healing is a choice too. Like you choose to heal yourself. A lot of people gives up on that, and they couldn't overcome it. So what do you think your superpower, man?
Prayer.
Okay.
I pray a lot.
Right.
I understand that I can't do anything without Yahweh and His Spirit.
Right.
And I can't do anything without having prayer and a communion with the Spirit, the Holy Spirit of Yahweh.
Mm-hmm.
Every day I pray a lot, because that's what I know.
Right.
You know how prayer is powerful, because there are prayers that in the scriptures, you look in the Bible, the Torah, there are people that pray prayers, and the billionaire on top of that building right there. Mm-hmm. You can pray prayers and ask Yahweh to show that man a dream, like the Pharaoh was shown a dream, and they went to get Joseph out of prison. He walked out of that cell that morning,
right,
and by the noonday, he was the second highest power in Egypt.
Fact.
Because the king that sat in that throne, through prayer, he just always prayed. He kept his character. He kept what his parents taught him. Right. To stay faithful to Yahweh, even no matter what the situation is.
Right.
And he prayed, and that guy that was in jail with him, that's why they say you never despise humble beginning.
Right.
Oh, he been to prison. So what?
Of course.
So what? He been to prison. That make him a bad person? So because you never been to prison, you're a great person? If Yahweh God was to put the scales up, and that person right here versus you, the scale on you would tilt.
Of course.
Because you're faking it. You're not real.
Right.
Because the scriptures say there's none that's righteous. No, not one. So don't say that to me. You see, I'm a real, now I live my life by the word of the scriptures and the stories from my ancestors. Okay.
Right.
But Joseph prayed for that man in that. He prayed that Yahweh would free him. He met a man in prison, and he told this man what would happen to him, because he had a gift.
Right.
We all have gifts. And the scripture says your gift make room for you and bring you before great men. He told somebody what was going to happen in the story. And he said, you're going to go back and work for the king.
Right.
And sure enough, he did. He said, but when you go, remember me. And it was 2 years. He didn't remember him. But when the king had a dream, and the king was like, man, I had this dream. I'm terrified. He probably screaming at everybody. And he said, man, forgive me my wrong. I know somebody that can tell you this dream. He told me my life, my dream, that I was going to work for you again. And that's what happened. So, of course, you know, he
found a room for himself.
Brought Joseph, and Joseph told the king what the dream was. And all of the brilliant people around him couldn't figure it out.
Right.
And he said, today, nobody is higher than you in Egypt except me. So that man in the penthouse, if you pray and ask Yahweh to move in a dream to show that man something, or connect him with somebody that can say, man, I got this problem, but I know I need somebody that can solve it. Somebody that works for him will be able to say, I know somebody that know a guy.
Right.
And they'll call Ali, and right then and there, everything would happen. But that's the power of a prayer, relational prayer with Yahweh God. Every day you communicate, you talk to him, you tell him what it is that you need. So yeah, I'm smart, I'm brilliant, no question. But my brilliance comes from my gift, and my gift is what Yahweh gave me. Okay. So if I ever think in my mind that I can excel beyond that, then I'm crazy. Right. So I'd rather stay low key, stay humble, stay out the way. And, you know, like people tell me, man, a person would never know that you do what you do or have what you have because the way you are. If you know, you know. If you don't know, you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know even.
I believe that the only people that should know are people that need to know. You know, and that's a friend of mine was a special agent for the FBI years ago. He retired because he was working on a friend of mine's case that got murdered. But he told me this thing, I'll never forget it. He said, people think we know, but we don't know as much as people think we know. The way we find out about somebody is because somebody came and told us about you because they were jealous or envious of you. So we don't know.
Right.
He said, but what we tell people what we want them to know, not what they need to know. Right. So sometimes people tell too much of their story or too much of their life, and people just don't know. You know, if I'm doing an interview and somebody like, wow, that guy look like he has Richard Mille on his wrist. Oh, he must have some money, you know, but I'm not going to come and advocate for Richard Mille and this and that's not my conversation. You know, if you see me in the store, on the restaurant, I'm eating, I'm disrespectful, fine. You walk outside and you see I get in the Rolls Royce with a chauffeur. Well, you can know one, that's mine. But I'm not advocating that.
Right.
You follow me? For me, when I see people always showing stuff online, and then later on you find out it wasn't theirs, I just like to be genuine with people, man. I'm a real old school hustler. Right. You know, I'm an old school hustler.
And a lot of respect to you, my brother.
Yeah, I'm
a lot of respect.
I just don't think like that, bro.
And I see it, man, and I really believe it. And again, I always call you the greatness because I see it, I feel it. And again, I'm learning. I'm a great student with you, brother. I want to learn more and I want to like elevate. So we get to the entertainment, right? That's when money happened, right? You want to tell us a little bit about this part of your life so we just kind of understand how you built.
I started out promoting concerts. You know, I was in the streets hustling, so I made a little money and I started promoting concerts. And people just like me. Like I just said earlier, you know, you just got to have the character, you know, and people like me. And so I don't know how I ended up starting this company called CIE, Sci Records. CIE stood for Cash in Effect because I'm just about my money at that time. And I don't remember, I had an artist that was kind of popular, but knew a lot of the popular artists. And so when they found out who I was, he said, man, we want to go to you. We want to sign with Mr. Jungle, you know, like whatever. So I had a few artists and, you know, I was doing my thing. And, you know, again, it's like the pot stayed hot. With all the water boiled out, the steam was gone, but the pot was still hot. So I don't know how, like, I don't know how the steam went out the pot. I mean, I know it's hot, but I don't know I don't know how the last morsel of steam went out the pot. I just know the steam went out the pot, but the pot was hot. So I'm saying that to say this. So I don't know how I got into the entertainment business when I started negotiating real deals and doing business with major people like Ice-T and, different people like that.
Right.
So I just got to that point. It just happened. I can't tell you when. My pot just stayed hot. So when some more water was put in it, opportunity.
Just the hard work pays off like in one time.
Yeah, my pot stayed hot. So whenever another opportunity, i.e. water, was poured into it, I knew that somebody needed that steam for something. So they put it in there and I just kept going. And that's the only way I can explain it. I can't say what day I got into this. I do know that in 2001, I did my first movie, and it was with Ice-T, Cash Money, a few other people from No Limit was in the place, and it was a rough movie. It was my first one, It's called The Players Ball, New Orleans Annual Players Ball. But it was just my first step into doing that because I was doing well with everything else, and then I think somebody called me with an artist, major artist that had a problem with a contract, and we talked. And I'm real good with corporate law and stuff like that when it comes down to entertainment law. And I'm not scared. I'm not scary. A lot of lawyers, they're afraid of the major labels. They're representing you, but they're really representing the label, because I've had lawyers that sold out clients of mine that I went at them and they fear me. They're afraid of me, because not just because I'm smart, because I let them know I'm street too. So we're going to straighten it out however it needs to be straightened out, but you're not going to play with me like you play with everybody else. That's not going to happen. So then I got this name of the Godfather. So people started respecting me, and different artists would call me to negotiate a deal for them here or there. And then I would, and so I had another guy, like the actor Clifton Powell. We all know him as Pinky from Friday, but he's played in a bunch of movies, and he had a situation that happened down in New Orleans, and it's like my big brother, and I found out about it, and I put a team together, and I got lawyers, and I got him off of that case. It was a major rape case they tried to put on him, but because I knew the right people, I made some things happen, and the same judge that gave him that passed judgment on the case and found him guilty, she came back and overruled herself and threw it out, and he was able to get off the case because it was a bad case. The girl was lying the whole time, but she did the same thing to some football players and stuff like that. So you can't be afraid. That's another thing in this business. So labels respect me. That was one label I had. I went in their office for 5 hours. I basically sit down with the president of their company, and I could have sent everybody in there to jail because I do my due diligence, and I had everything to prove that you were stealing from my client, you were misleading tax, putting tax liabilities on my client, you were using monies that with the company that was defunct for years, but you were still taking money out for that company from my client. It was a bunch of stuff that went on. But I talked to them like men, and they wanted to do a side deal with me against my client. I said, no, that's never going to happen. Because I'm under confidentiality agreements, I can't, disclose who these artists are. But one was a major rap star right now today. But they're rappers, they're not business people.
If they don't know business.
And the thing is, when you get people in management, you got to understand that they're seasoned business people, not somebody that just take a title and say, oh, I'm your manager. I mean, how hard is it to manage Jay-Z? It's real simple because Jay-Z is already an established brand. But a billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar brand. But if you're someone that's managing an artist that's up and coming, is very popular, as a manager, you're supposed to find other revenue streams for him. Or branding deals or create other situations. You don't sit back and just wait for somebody to call to book this artist for a show. Then you make money off of the show, and then you're making money off of the after party. That's hustle, guys. That's poor hustle. You find other opportunities for your artists. I got a call today from an artist in Atlanta, and though I'm retired, I still get calls. To consult on different deals. Not just in entertainment. I do global deals.
The Godfather, bro.
I guess that's what they say. But I just don't want to see people taken advantage of. And this is a business where people will take advantage of you. If you look at all of the artists, Angie Stone just died and she complained about over $50 million that they owed her. A lot of artists have that same story. So,
Yeah.
you know, you don't let the houses and the cars fool you. They're suffering they're suffering. You know, there's very few DJ Khaled's. You know, DJ Khaled is a guy I've never met. I mean, he's my homeboy, but I love his energy.
Yeah,
so I love him.
His energy too.
You know, he's just a great guy. He's just a genuine guy. You can feel it when you see him. He's not a persona. He's not trying to create a persona of a tough guy, the richest of the rich guy. No, he's not trying to do that. You know, this guy's worth, you know, damn near $100 million, but he's just a great guy, and he hasn't done wrong to people. You follow me? He's just a good guy. And I think he would be someone that if I was an artist, I would look up to him, you know, and would want to learn a lot about him and be mentored by him because he has such great respect because he's just a beautiful soul.
Right. Shout out to DJ Khaled. We're the biggest. We're the best. Yes, sir.
And then he teaches family.
Right.
You know, aside and he loves his family.
Yeah, a lot.
Everywhere he go, you know. And I like the name of his company. We are the best.
We the best. Yeah.
We the best.
Yeah, that's it.
And he's telling that that's for all of us. You know, we're the best. You know, and see that. You know, he always acknowledges, you know, Allah, God, you know, and that's important.
Everywhere.
You know, he's just a great person, and I love that guy's energy. Whenever I see him, I smile, I laugh. I say, "It's my guy right there." You know, he's family, and everything that he has, he deserves. Yahweh, God, Allah, gives it to him because he deserves it. You know, there are gifts that we ask Yahweh for, of blessings, and then there are rewards that Yahweh gives us. And I feel like that's his reward because his family is his gift. You know, his business is his gift, and his reward for all of that is the protection that's around it. And it's not being challenged like some of the other artists and going to jail for this one and that one, and they losing their business and losing their taxes and all this craziness. He just
moving really like I believe he always moving in divine energy. Like
I would agree that he moves in divine energy. He's a sweet spirit guy. He's a great guy. So,
So General, I mean, first tell us like some names that like big names that you work with no stories about them, just like big names. So
no, I've been with Snoop, I've done stuff with Clifton Powell, I've done stuff with Ice-T, I've done stuff with who wouldn't mind
with Cash Money too?
I've done stuff with Cash Money, Baby and Slim.
Right.
Slim, love him. That's awesome brother. Birdman's cool, but Slim, he another one. He's that energy I was telling you about. You know, he quiet. He don't make noise. Right. He make noise where it count. You know, you feel him in the corporate world. Right. You know, but he stays out of the way. He's a beautiful guy, man. That's all I can say about Slim.
That's great.
But you know, Dan and.
So I have a little question for so as a Jewish. Growing up in the Jewish community, right? What do you think is the standards that makes difference for you to always have this faith, for you to always, because I feel like I have a lot of friends around, right? I have the Christian, I have the Muslim, I have like the one who doesn't even believe, but when I see like the standards you have from your home, like where you grow up, I feel like you really have high standards. So, but I want to hear from you, like what you think is separate you as a man from like faith. What do faith separate you in your life? Like what did for you?
I mean, I just believe that Yahweh God loves me and my family,
right?
And I've always been taught to know him and to reverence him.
Right.
I've tried him several times, played with him several times. Right. And sometimes I've been punished for it. Sometimes punishment doesn't always mean he'll let something happen to you. Sometimes punishment is he'll cause you to realize what you've done and you feel so bad about it until you just change your life.
Right.
It's like that. And you don't have to always He doesn't have to always let things happen to you. You could know this building is going to fall on you, and you see it coming down, but all of a sudden the building just stops from falling. It could have been a cable, whatever he did, and give you a chance to walk across the street. But you know that building was going to crush me.
Right.
And it'll make you go back home and you think about everything that you've done to him. And you're like, man, I can't do this to Yahweh no more, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why the scripture says godly sorrow, working true repentance. People don't have godly sorrow. They just talk. Oh, I'm sorry, God, I did this.
Yeah.
Godly sorrow is when you really, there's a Greek word, metaneo, when they talk about turning away from your sin. You know, repentance. The Greek word metaneo means to turn away from, you know, and really feel bad about it. So for me, it's just my faith. My faith is my faith is just the air I breathe. It's not everything it's not just the things that I do, it's the air I breathe. And for me, sometimes I don't think I breathe enough.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, of course.
So they tell you when you get overwhelmed and you get stressed, they tell you to do what?
Breathe.
So sometimes in my life, I haven't breathed enough.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Right.
I'm learning to breathe now. And like a DJ Khaled, you can feel it through his energy.
Right.
It's nothing fake about him. You can feel it.
Yeah. You can't fake the truth.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, he's like, he brings me joy whenever if I ever run across him and his family, I buy them dinner, you know, just lunch, breakfast, whatever. We ran into each other. I love him. And that's the way I want to see myself with people, just my energy. You know, my little brother, he tells me that all the time, bro, your spirit is just beautiful, but he has a beautiful spirit, genuine, you know, and so it's just walking. I just be walking in air, bro. You know, I walk in the air.
Greatness, brother, greatness.
The air of the spirit.
So what the biggest mistake that you see artists did in your career? Like what the biggest mistake that the artists always keep doing?
Not understand the business and fear.
Right.
Those so-called Jewish people, fear them, fear the labels.
Mm-hmm.
Just not know their business, fear the labels, and trust too many people.
Okay.
That's
what business is, like, if you want to teach me like a little bit about business that you know that people are missing, what should I know? Like,
when you say in business, I mean, it's a broad spectrum.
Right.
I can give you information in terms of entertainment business or just like real estate business or just corporate business or what.
Yeah, the artists, like what they need to know about business, like,
Well, first of all, they need to know what it is that they want to do.
Right.
I want to be a rapper, man. I want to go sign a deal with Universal.
Right.
For what? What kind of deal do you want with Universal? Why do you want to deal with Universal?
Mm-hmm.
They don't identify completely what it is that
they don't have a clarity.
They don't have clarity.
Clarity, yeah.
They're just moving on impulse.
Right.
And it's great to have that momentum and that energy.
Right.
But there are those at the top in the industry.
They're gonna use it
against you. They're gonna exploit it.
Fact. It's called, you can't reach targets you don't know. So you can't, like, if you don't have a goal and you're gonna sign on papers for a goal you don't even know where you want to be at. So you're gonna. So what else? Like, if the clarity, they don't have clarity. And what do you think else?
They don't have a strategy and a plan and the resources that.
What about mindset?
I think they have the mindset to create music. They have the mindset to want to win.
But not in business.
But then they have the mindset to build a structure.
Right.
And the people that they have around them are not people that have a mindset of understanding of business in terms of the world of entertainment. Notice I said I was in the business of entertainment. See, I've never been in the entertainment business.
Right.
See, entertainment business, I'm not here to entertain nobody.
Right.
Entertain me and pay me.
Right.
That's the way I think.
Right.
So there are too many people in the entertainment business and not enough of them in the business of entertainment.
That's crazy.
I spoke at a lecture. I did a lecture at an event a while back, and I said that to some people. I said, if your manager has more money than you, and his job is to manage you, you don't need him as a manager.
Facts. Because he's taking your money.
But it's a story
Right.
that you hear over and over and over and over.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, it's out there. It's out there. That's why you can't be a record label and manage your own artist.
No way.
Because years back, people went to court with that, so they said it's a conflict of interest. So you can't do that.
You're not gonna make money for the artist. You're gonna make money for the label.
If the label is your management company and the label do you wrong, who you gonna sue?
Right.
You gonna sue the record label, but the same owner of the record label is the same owner of the management company.
True.
So they couldn't get justice like that.
Right. So there is a lot of money made. There is, as we say, there is mistake happening as well. So money in and out.
Correct.
And so what money means to you right now?
What money means to me?
Right.
It's a byproduct. It gives you the ability to help people that need help. Gives you the ability to pay your bills and take care of the things you need to take care of. It means leaving a financial legacy for your kids, for your grandkids.
Right.
I'm not leaving anything to my kids, but
Right.
to my grandkids, I want to see that they're successful. My children, I'm giving them the shots that they need. What they do with it, like Shaq, what they do with it, they do. If they don't, they don't.
Right.
And other celebrities feel the same way.
Right.
But my grandkids, if the parents fail, I got to be the backup.
Right.
Like that. So yeah.
That's greatness.
But
That's greatness.
rich people talk about money. Wealthy and powerful people, they talk about ideas.
Of course. And that's value. That's value.
Yeah.
So as from all this journey, there is a lot of lessons that you learn, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what the biggest lesson that you learn in your journey?
Never stop trusting Yahweh.
Okay.
That's the biggest and the best lesson.
Right.
Because every failure that I've had, every loss that I've had, is because I didn't listen to that spirit that was telling me,
Right.
don't do that.
Right.
Don't say this.
Mm-hmm.
Don't go there. When the night I got robbed and shot, my spirit told me not to go there.
Wow.
When I got shot and I was running and I heard the bullets, one shot me in the arm, one on my spine, this close to my spine, one
Wow.
in my side, I lost a kidney. The voice told me, I saw a light on a porch on St. Charles Avenue, uptown in New Orleans. I saw a light on the porch and the spirit, I heard Yahweh say, run to that light on the porch. I fell on the doorstep of 2 doctors 5 minutes from the hospital.
Wow.
I know.
Yeah.
So I just try to move in the energy.
Right.
The air, the spirit. If I
Right.
listen, I'm gonna get what I need to get.
Right.
I'm gonna get the protection. I'm gonna get the resources. I'm gonna
Right.
get the success. I'm gonna get the covering. I'm gonna get the blessing. My friends that I pray for gonna get the blessing. They're gonna get the covering. They're gonna get the gifts. I just move in the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
We make life too much about monetary. But what it profits you to gain the whole world and have no relationship?
Right. Yes.
You lose your soul.
Of course. And that's I think the worst life you can live is like losing your soul.
You know, as an example, I go back to this guy. I love this dude, man. Really, DJ Khaled.
Right.
It's the energy that he's
Putting out there.
He's putting out to his family.
Attracting everything
So
around.
his family is in tune. So when 100 years from now, I hope 50 more years, when he passed, that same energy is in his kids, and his
Of
kids are going
course.
to put that in their kid,
Right.
and that's going to be a life well lived.
Right. And this is what's called generational wealth, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's exactly
Right.
what it is.
Right. So I see you as a leader, man. And I think like there is a lot of people nowadays like misleading, especially in New Orleans. I think like every time I go out in New Orleans, I feel like people moving faster, people
I agree.
doing more,
Yeah.
and they have more unity. Like they even like, you know what? I see like people helping more in outside New Orleans.
Of course.
Like I see people here, bro, they're afraid of helping sometimes. I mean, they're great people though. They have a great culture. They are family people. Like if they as they say, if they fuck with you, they fuck with you. But at the same time, I feel like I really want to make this move here though. Like, I really want to put this energy. I want to tell this person like, yo, I love you. It's not about like, I'm trying to put you down or up. I'm trying to tell you there is more. So as you right now, how can you, how you see this? How can we change this? How can we do this better?
You can't change it.
Right.
That's your answer. You can't change it. How do you change a racist whose grandfather's grandfather taught his son, and his son taught his son, and his son to hate black people? How you gonna change it? It's hundreds of years. How you gonna change it? You can't. What you can do is demonstrate that you are not the way that his ancestors said that you were.
Right.
And they have an interaction and experience with you and realize that for themselves and then turn on their family. I got several white friends like that.
Okay. But also I feel like the community here, like, is not just about white or black. I mean, if you're going to talk about like black community as well here, I think they still need like, there is like more power to be provided here though. More unity could be done, like more support I think could be happen. How do you see as a leader, how do you see yourself maybe being a part of this or leading this change to do better? What do you think the black community need to do, like to have a, to maybe like have a...
I don't see myself as being I do see myself as being a leader.
Right.
But you can only lead those that want to be led.
Okay.
So if there is not an element of willingness to be led,
right,
and it's time to go to war,
right,
you're the only person out there fighting. You a dead man.
Right.
Go back to scripture. Yahweh said Moses to deliver the people out of New Orleans.
Right.
What they do? They rebel against him. He showed them all signs and great signs and wonders. Delivered them out of Egypt. Not broke.
Right.
Each one of them, he said, go to the Egyptians and tell them to give you gold. They left, over 3 million of our people left with wealth in their hand. Wealth.
Right.
Got in the desert and did what? Got into Beverly Bar, the Hebrew word for wilderness.
Right.
And started listening to one another. Another one's, oh, we don't need to do, Moses not no leader. We should, we free, we can do this.
Right.
That's New Orleans.
Wow. Because I'm saying that because when we have a conversation together on the phone and I'm listening to your wisdom and I mean, you understand the economy so much different and so much better than anybody I ever like heard them talking. And I see like when you tell me like 80% of money that's spending today in the market is from black people.
That's a fact.
Right? So I want you to go a little bit of that, like how do you see this stuff going on, man? Like, because if just here, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, we're talking about like Versace, we're talking about all these branded brands. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's told me if there is no black consumer, there is no brand, they can't be in business.
They're here because the whites have most of the money. Right. I mean, the whites spend money, mm-hmm. but the whites don't spend more than blacks.
Wow.
The largest consumers, Google it, in America are African American people. They spend over $1.1 trillion a year. They spend more money in this country than any other race of people.
Wow.
And it's been that way for years.
Wow. What do you think? Why is that?
Because we're consumers and not producers.
And that's because?
That's because of the mindset. That's because of what spirit has been upon them.
Right.
This is all they breathe. This is all they've been bred into.
Right.
That's just what it is. So the few successful ones that you see, half of them are going to look out for them. Maybe 75% of them are going to look out for themselves and their family.
Right.
The other 25% that made it, they're going to try to look out for them and try to look out for, a few other people.
Right.
Right. So the bigger number is not trying to look out like the smaller number. If you could get the greater number to do what the smaller numbers is doing, we wouldn't be in this condition.
Of course.
So when you think about it, if the black people are the largest consumers, Louis Vuitton would not be Louis Vuitton if black people wasn't spending the money they spend.
How can we choose that? Like, if there is something as a leader, again.
I'm gonna go back to what I said before. You can't lead those that don't want to be led. So his answer to your question, Yahweh brought them into the wilderness, blessed them with money, with wealth.
Right.
They still went against him. So what did he do? He caused the ground to be opened up and swallowed a large portion of it. And then he told Moses, those that live and that were against me, against you, take your swords and go over there and kill them all. I don't care if it's your mom, your auntie, your grandpa, your grandma. See, because Yahweh is sovereign. His justice is true.
Right.
He's righteous.
Right.
He sees.
Absolutely. And he knows.
And he knows
right.
what they're going to turn out to be. That's what so that's the way I look at the city. It's just, you can't keep doing what you're doing to the poor and think it's okay.
Right.
Because the scripture says, man, he that considereth the poor shall find favor with Yahweh God. I don't like to see people homeless. So I see a homeless person out, give them some money to get them something to eat. I know I can't take every homeless person off the street. I'd be homeless. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, but I would put something in that pot. Because that pot is hot. I'll put something in that pot to get that steam going again. You follow?
Right. And I think also like the mindset as well, like for them, they have a mindset too they need to work on. Somehow that's what I see it. I learned a guy in Miami, I was in an interview with him, and he does like 1 day a week. That's when he go out and give all the homeless and he give them like, clothes and food. And I really learned that. I feel that's inspired me a lot. At the same time, like, I feel like there is a little bit more work on me to do, because I think I can help like a little bit extra maybe with what I know, with few words, with like, maybe I'm thinking like maybe a book can be in their hand that's, maybe reading. Something that I feel like, because it's the cause of why they're out there is the mindset as well. That's what I think, right? So, yeah, I think there is like a victim mindset sometimes that people...
I met a guy.
Okay.
I made myself homeless for a week because I wanted to experience what it felt like. And I was in New Orleans at the time. And I slept in my car. I had a BMW convertible.
Right.
And I would go and buy food from Wendy's, the 4 for $4. And I bring that and I feed the guy. I met this one guy, white guy. He had a yacht out there. He slept on the bench. He owned a big company in Texas.
Yeah.
And we just talking. And he didn't need no money. He appreciated what I did, but after you don't just start telling people your business, but he shared his story with me. And he said, man, I got a yacht over there now. I go in there and I change clothes if I want to, and I sleep out here. And I saw him out there a lot. And he said that he was just not happy. He grew up with money.
Right.
But no genuine values, It's like he wasn't happy with the way he
just money.
He wasn't happy with where he was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Money by itself is not enough though.
But people don't but a lot of people, this young generation, they don't understand it. They don't get it.
Right.
They don't get it. They think that they're having money.
Until they have it, they will understand.
And in a lot of cases, they will never have it because they don't get it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's the difference in having money and touching money.
Right.
See, a lot of black people, they touch money. Money come through their hand. They got all the Louis, they got the cars, the rims, the watches, and they spend a lot of money. But they can't, at the end of the day,
They can't keep it.
They can't, you know, yeah, they
They
can't.
don't have it.
They're not disciplined.
Yeah, I think this is what, like, one time I learned about, you have to make money, save money, and multiply money. So
Yeah.
it's just like a process to do it. So what wakes you up every day, General?
Yahweh,
Like the purpose,
just to pray
right?
and see what the energy has for me.
Right.
Sometimes I don't move. I'll stay inside weeks at a time until the spirit says, okay, I need you to do this. Go watch this minister. Go watch this motivational speaker. My spirit just leads me to do certain things, and I'll go and do it.
Right.
And if it's something for me to do, my phone will ring and somebody will call me. Hey man, look, what about I got this gold deal I'm trying. Hey man, I got this music deal, so and so. Hey, what do you think about this, man? Would you want to consult on this deal and I pay you 100,000, 200, whatever? I'm just an example. So I learned in my life when I go without the unctioning, the unction or the pushing of the spirit, I may go out and do something, but it won't bring me satisfaction, or I'll lose it in the end. It'll cost me more than what I made. But if I just wait on the spirit of Yahweh to tell me what to do, and I wake up, I say, I commit my life, my day to you.
Right.
Tell me what you want me to do or guide me into it. And I'll just do what I do. Watch videos, pray, meditate, stuff like that. And then I'll get a call. That's what I'm supposed to do that day.
Right.
If I don't get a call, then what I'm supposed to do that day is spend that time with Yahweh and learning, educating myself, learning different tools, like learning different things about the law. Now that my President Trump is in office, there's things that are changing, and I just try to keep myself abreast on things like that, and I don't move.
That's greatness. What do you value the most right now?
Yahweh.
So, from all this, like the wisdom and the lessons you learn, if you're gonna give your younger self an advice, what's the biggest advice you give them?
Listen to my parents, what they taught me a long time ago about Yahweh, and being more committed to seeking ye first the kingdom of Yahweh and His righteousness, and everything else will be added unto me. Everything that I added, I added it through my gifts. You follow me? Because there are gifts that are given that Yahweh will never take back. But I didn't utilize the whole spectrum. I didn't do it the way He would prefer me to do it. So you don't hold on to it. You understand? But if you do it the way when He leads you to do it, it's like the door He opened, nobody can close it. But the doors He closed, can't no man open it. But one thing, if I learned this, that if you're trying to do something right, you're giving time to Yahweh, and you believe that He's telling you to do this, and you go through that door, even though this is the door over here He wants you to go through, He'll move that door from over here and put it over there because He won't want to disappoint you, because you're believing that you're hearing from Him, as opposed to just going on your own. So I hold that.
And I was just telling my wife, I feel like few last month, I feel like I'm getting so much messages from God in a way, like I feel it's really meant to me. Like I feel like there is so much, like even energy, I can feel it, and I feel like while you're talking, I really like all what I'm listening to is like I have to listen. And that's why I've been listening. So this is really inspired me a lot, and it touched me a lot, because I think we all have a call, and we all have a purpose of being here, and we all have. Sometimes people don't realize it. I don't know if everybody could, but it's like if we don't understand this message or understand this call, we lost the whole journey. There is no purpose, no reason for all what we did. As you say, there's people who got the money and they still not happy, because it's not the money, it's the purpose, it's the fulfillment, is what you're giving, it's like who you are. And as you say that, DJ Khaled, all what you said about it is not what you have. You should say how what he's giving, how he's the energy he's just providing to this universe and to everybody. So this is really great. So, General, I have a lot of respect, man. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you coming here. You blessed me, blessed the podcast, blessed my house, and you are family now.
Oh, really?
And we're gonna make listen, y'all. We have we have a podcast that we already shot, And I have it's right here. It's gonna be out, I believe, like soon in God's name. But this one, that one, you guys gonna see it. You will see the general as a businessman, and in God's name, we have more to come together, and hopefully we will have you like on more episodes, my brother.
Definitely, yeah.
I appreciate you a lot. Do you want to say something, because I think there is something that to inspire them before you go?
Just pray genuinely and don't move until Yahweh's Spirit tells you to move. Because that way, He's opening the door. And the door He opened, nobody can close it. No matter what they try to do against you, plot against you. He said you make your enemies your footstool. And so you pray every day and every night, and you listen. Don't just pray and listen. Spend time in His presence. You know, if you pray for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, stay on your knees or just lay down after you pray and just don't think about nothing other than Him, and let Him speak to you. And that way you're gonna win. Guaranteed to win. You need discipline. If you can't be disciplined in prayer, you can't be disciplined in business.
That's powerful.
Because the God of all gods, Yahweh, Allah, God, what we will call it, Jesus was disciplined in everything He did. He was disciplined with Yahweh. That's why He was successful. So at the end of the day, if you want to be successful in what you're doing, you have to be disciplined in your prayer life. If you can't be disciplined in the prayer life, then how are you going to be disciplined in business? When you're praying to someone that has the power to give you everything in your life, give you life, expand your life, take the life of people around you. So if you don't have the discipline to give Him that, to manage a relationship with Him, then how are you going to manage a relationship with business? Because if you attempt to manage a relationship with business, at the end of the day, they say you gain the whole world, but at the end of the game, you lose your soul.
That's
Prayer is key, man. Praise Yahweh, praise Yeshua, Jesus.
And I really think this is like a lot to learn, and you have to watch this episode maybe twice, maybe 3 times, but you have to understand the power of faith, because this is what I'm learning right now, and I believe we become what we think about. So this is like connected to your faith, to what you believe, and if you believe in it or not. So make sure you're thinking about what you want. As the general said, you have to be clear of what you really want. And so keep thinking about it, keep believing in it, and keep moving forward, because God got you. And remember, that's always God first. And I will see you at the top.